Welcome to the first episode of Coach and the Cowboy. This is a new podcast. It's got Josh and Reggie on it. And Josh, welcome to the podcast. Let's have some fun today. Tell us what is Coach and the Cowboy? What is this podcast all about?
Yeah, well, thank you, Reggie, for having me on tonight's show. It's gonna be great, me and you going back and forth. All right, so some of our show goes are life lessons, just stuff we've learned through my 39 years. Almost gonna be 40 this year. I mean,
The big 4-0, man.
I know you're over the hill, so you'll have some more wisdom than I will.
Hey.
Then we want to maybe talk about some midlife transitions, like maybe changing jobs. Having kids, raising them, all that good stuff. And then we want to get into leadership on and off the field, what that looks like from my perspective, maybe growing up or playing, probably yours as well.
Sure.
I know both of us have coached together,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then get into psychology of winning, not just like winning the games, but more how you
Winning at life.
winning at life or putting the work in, not
Yeah,
wanting, do the little things behind the scenes that most people don't see what you're putting that work in.
absolutely.
And then overcoming adversity in our life could be
Mhm.
anything small to anything big. This one might be more like raw and where we really tell some good stories.
I love it. I think all these we can find some really good stories and really relate to it because here's the thing, like Josh and I are just two normal dudes, right? A couple years ago we didn't know each other from Adam, and it just so happens that we coached together and really hit it off. And whether we're sending each other TikToks, texting each other, playing basketball with each other, or just all the little things, we've been there for each other, on and off the field, so to say. And it's a friendship that I really cherish and I can really appreciate. And so I'm excited to start this journey. And there's going to be a lot of fun stuff that we do too, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, almost forgot. We'll have our coach's corner where we'll have some people come in, and either it
yeah.
could be a coach of like a sport, or it could be
Hmm.
just somebody sharing knowledge and helping people grow in their life, which will be fun to like get some interesting people in to do that.
Absolutely. And both of us are a big fan of dad jokes. So the dad joke section will, there'll be a regular segment, if you will. I'm a big like, hey, top five. Let's get a top five ranking or list, different things like that. I think that would be fun, like a keep five, cut five. You got to pick, whatever it may be, and we'll have a lot of fun with that. And if you know Josh and I, we're big sports nuts. So there'll be a lot, especially NCAA football. Obviously, with the new game coming out from EA Sports, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about real football, like human football.
Yeah, like
Uh,
the spring games that are coming up, so we
yeah,
can brag about our teams and stuff. Like some of us have a better team than others, but it's fine.
absolutely. Well, I tell you what, let's transition, Josh. What I think the first episode is all about ground, like laying that foundation, right? And if people know us a little bit, obviously we don't have time to get into the entire, a colonoscopy of history of who is Josh and who is Reggie.
That sounds a little dirty.
Gross
That
analogy.
might be a little dirty.
Let's keep this PG. But let's like just take a couple minutes here and just talk about whatever's on your heart and kind of what makes you tick and who Josh is.
All right. Sounds good. We'll keep it clean though. All right. So, yeah. So my roots were planted in Toledo, Sylvania, Ohio. That's where I grew up. So yes,
All right.
I know I have to say this, but yes, I'm a proud Buckeye fan.
Yeah.
But
From that state down south.
yeah, I know. And we're not too far south, just a little bit. Honestly, it's an honor for me and Reggie to do this podcast. I want to say first off, like, to use this platform to just express our journey and how it shaped us, and all the other nuts and bolts that we'll get into later that we can just share with you guys. So, all right. So, just a few things about me. So when I was born, I was only 2 pounds 4.5 ounces.
For real?
So
I
yeah,
didn't know
for
that.
real, bro. Yeah. So I was obviously premature. um, and my mom always says, like, I guess you want to come early and make me a surprise. And I was like, well, I guess so. So my fondest memories of like seeing pictures when I was, they had me in the incubator and all that kind of stuff. Like, times have
Sure.
changed now, how premature, babies are and all that stuff, how it works with the doctors now and everything. But my two favorite pictures of all time were the first one was my dad's fist was bigger than me. So in the
His
picture,
fist?
yeah, his
Your
fist was,
dad's not a big guy.
I mean, he's 6 foot, whatever, two something. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
but he's
he's
not
not like,
like
oh,
Andre the Giant.
no, I know. But like his fist, when he made a fist, was bigger than me.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then the other picture, which is cool, and they finally got to bring me home. Do you remember the old school water beds back in the day that everybody had?
The old school what?
Water beds, the water
Oh,
beds. Like,
waterbed. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody had one. Okay, so
Motion of the ocean, baby.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's how I picture mine.
That's how I that's how I was yeah, that's how I was conceived. Oh god. Anyways, so on the bed they had this like quilt that of course like your grandma made back in the day.
Oh man,
But
those are the best, bro.
I took up one square on the quilt. When they finally got to bring me home, they took a picture. I was one square on the quilt. I was like, I
Just
still
a
can't
baby.
yeah, I still can't believe that though.
That's wild, man.
So yeah.
You
Um
have grown since then.
I have a little bit, yeah, yeah. But because of that, I feel like I've learned firsthand the power of like resilience
Sure,
and
sure.
determination from like an early age, right?
Mhm.
Um, so then overcoming, that being a preemie, all those challenges, I guess, we can share those later, but there's more there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
um, so then when I was 7, this is called Beret syndrome, better known as GBS.
Okay.
It hits 1 in 100,000 people. So it's pretty rare.
Right.
And when I did research for it afterwards, a lot of the people that I found were all
Mhm.
over in the UK or over in Europe. And I was like, that's weird. There's like nobody in this, in the States.
A bunch of
But
Brits,
yeah, right, right.
bunch of
All
redcoats.
right. Yeah, yeah. That so what happened was so basically it acts like it can everybody's is different. So it can start in your arm, leg, one or the other. And it kind of acts like a Charlie horse. So then it progressed, later on, and then eventually, like you can't use the leg, like somebody goes numb, has tingling, and then eventually I ended up being paralyzed from the neck down. So
Whoa,
um
okay, okay. How old were you when, like, all that went down?
seven.
You were 7.
7. Yep.
So, leading up to that point, were you just, like, cruising around the neighborhood on your bike? You were trying to ride a skateboard and you fell a bunch of times and, like, you were playing sports, like, you were just a normal
Yeah.
kid?
Just a normal kid doing all the
And then
stuff you said besides
you're like,
skateboarding, because
"Oh,
that
this Charlie
wasn't
horse happened." And then
yeah.
it's just like, how long from the time, like, the Charlie horse happened to you're full on, like, neck down, you can't move?
Um, so yeah, so you like you described, it started just as like a Charlie horse, and they thought I injured it playing soccer earlier
Sure.
that. So I'd say if we had to do a timeline, it probably was maybe a week, maybe a
A
week, and then
week.
I want to say I could be a couple more days, I could be off, but I don't
That's
remember for sure.
crazy. Can you imagine, like, your kid, like, "Oh, yeah, I think I tweaked a hammy, maybe Charlie horse or whatever," and then all of a sudden, a week later, the kid can't even get out of bed? Like,
Yeah,
they
I
literally
couldn't walk, and so they had to so what happened was I was like they had to
holy
carry
smoke.
me to the car and they got me in there. And I
Yeah.
remember the doctors were like, there's like 12 doctors in my room, like no joke. I felt like I was on an episode of ER, like back in the day. Like, you know, but they still couldn't figure it out. And then one doctor was like, I guess researching something on like those old school computers, that looked like, a fridge. And
Microfilm
yeah,
dish,
exactly. And he came up with the
Encyclopedia
diagnosis.
Britannica in the background.
Right, right. He came up with the diagnosis, but nobody, so then they I'll tell you what to do after that. But like the weird thing is like no one's really sure how it happens. So like I said, it starts in the leg or arm and feels like a Charlie horse or whatever. But then it starts attacking your own antibodies in your system. So that's why I went
Mm.
paralyzed from the neck down. And then I started drowning in my own fluids. So they had to like hook me up with a pump to pump out my lungs and all that fun. And they had to have like a tube as well.
Jeez.
So yeah, so I had like tubes out of like this sounds graphic, but out of every orifice basically. Like, and so yeah. So then they figured out what the remedy of that was. It's called a thing called plasmapheresis. So what they do is they cycle your antibodies out of your system
Mhm.
and then send them back in.
I'm
So
saying like I know what the hell that means,
yeah,
but okay.
yeah. So basically, take your antibodies, out of your system through this machine, and then they bring them back in. So they're taking the disease parts out, however they work that, and then they
Wow,
bring
and then they put it back in.
put it back in you. So you can only have 3 transmissions of that. So I had 2, but I'm not gonna lie, it felt like your insides were on fire, like it was hot.
Really?
so so I couldn't like speak because of the tube. So I was just like, oh my God, this feels amazing. Like being 7 and
Mhm.
dealing with all this and everything. And then eventually it started to go away. And then, so basically I was in the hospital for about a little over a month dealing with all that after like case. And then after that, I had to have I had to go through rehab. So like
Yeah, I
all
bet,
those
man.
kid, all those kids out there that were like running around, I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to tie my shoes again. I learned how to use a
Jeez, oh
fork.
Pete.
I also had to learn how to talk too, because I forgot to tell you when you have it, it also like you lose all facial expressions. So, and plus I had a tube down my throat for a while too. So I had to learn all that. And
Yo.
till this day, I still like mumble every once in a while because of it. Or people think I'm mad because my face is doing something it's not. So I always tell people when you meet me, I'm like, just ask me if you think I'm mad. I might not be. My face just does its own thing sometimes. So, when that really helps for dating. So,
Bro, this is insane.
so yeah. So the only thing negative I have because of the disease, besides like bumbling and weird facial expressions or RBF, like people like to call it, is 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 my one ankle. My right ankle is always like sore. So I used to like wear a brace playing sports, but that's about it.
So,
And
what was how long? So, 7, right?
yeah,
You get a Charlie horse. You a week later, a week, 10 days later, whatever, you are completely immobilized. Like,
I could
can't
only
move at
I could
all.
only move my
Your right
my
eyelid. I mean,
no, I
that's
could only
insane.
move my neck. Like I only move my head like around. That's it. Nothing else.
That is crazy.
So
So then what is the timeline from the time all that goes down until, like, you're back to, riding your bike again?
so it happened. This all happened like 5 days before Christmas,
Oh.
I want to say. So then I didn't. Yeah,
So 5 days before Christmas is when you went down?
yeah,
So you were still out, like, there was huge question marks all the way through Christmas and New Year's. Nobody knew what the hell was going on.
right, right. They didn't. I
Oh,
mean, um, wait, quick add on. I don't think this is a quick story. So you know how when people say they've seen the light when they die?
yeah?
Okay, so I don't know what happened, but all I remember was like really bright and cloudy. And
Really?
yep, and I remember somebody saying, "It's okay, Josh, you can go back." And I remember waking up and my parents just there next to me, and I was like, "Oh, I must have just fell asleep." So
What
yeah,
was it like? What kind of voice was it? Was it like a
I
big
do,
booming voice, or was it
uh,
like a soft voice, or
I do,
was it a
I
male,
honestly don't
female?
remember, but I feel like I was just walking, like just a normal walk through, not like the woods, but like a field kind of thing, and it was like cloudy and foggy a little bit. Yeah, but I don't, I couldn't tell you the voice honestly,
You
but yeah.
might have been going up on stage on a Black Sabbath, like, a concert or something, man.
Maybe,
Had the
maybe.
haze going on.
But yeah, so
Did you hear
from
no
there,
rocking? No rocking in the background?
no, probably not.
No?
No.
Okay, alright. That's
Uh,
dude, that is insane. I had no idea about this. No idea.
yeah. I don't always share all the time about it, but
Yeah. Well, you just shared with
I don't know, millions of
50
people.
million people on, we're taking Joe Rogan's down.
But yeah, so from the track the thing from there, just had to do rehab through the summer, and then the fall, I actually played half of a soccer game, so I had enough strength to do half of a soccer game.
Okay. So, wow. That was a long recovery.
Yeah,
Because you're talking about 9 months after the incident happened, right?
yeah,
Because you soccer in
yeah,
September.
they had to teach me everything again. Like I remember having to
Teach you how
like
to do everything.
practice walking up
That's
like
crazy.
stairs, like not real stairs, but like all right, you have to walk up, come back down, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it was grueling. And but the good thing is in my end that they said like if I was like older, like in my
Mhm.
20s or 30s,
Mhm.
then I'd probably have to walk with a cane or something. Because
Okay.
the younger you get it, the better you can recover faster, of course.
That's
So,
cool.
but yeah.
So
Um,
if you and I gotta ask this question, if
mhm.
you had to walk with a cane, this is probably about the time, Jurassic Park came out. Would you get, like, the wax with, like, the mosquito in it and, like, walk around with a cane like the old guy on, Jurassic Park?
Probably not his cane. I'd probably do. It'd probably be like a sports cane. Not gonna lie, because I was so into sports. It'd probably
A
have
sports cane?
something with sports on it. Like I don't. I'm not sure a
Oh,
team or whatever, but it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be like a gangster cane or anything.
it would be like a pimping cane.
Yeah, nothing
Like,
like that.
I always, I don't know, when did Jurassic Park come out?
Uh, Like,
'Cause you're a little bit younger than me, so you were probably a little too young. Let's look that up. When was
no, sure.
Jurassic
I
Park in
watched Jurassic Park when I was a kid.
1993, I
Oh, I
think
was gonna
is
say
when the
I was
first
gonna
one
say
came.
95.
So I was 10, you were probably 7. Were
Yeah.
you 86?
No, I'm 84.
80 you're 84? You're 1 year? Oh, whoa. I thought you were, like, 37.
No, remember we just talked about a few minutes ago. I was
Oh, you
turning
just
40.
said 40, yeah, yeah. Doi. I'm just mesmerized by the story. I have no idea. That is
Yeah.
wild. Alright, alright.
So because of all that, I feel like, I've, installed a sense of like purpose or drive. Like I feel like that's like a big thing of me.
For sure.
Um, like when people say, "Oh, you got to put in the hard work," I'm like, "You don't even know, bro. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know.
I was
Like you
doing
can."
this at 7,
Yeah.
learning how to walk again.
And then of course, like growing up, family and sports, pivoted a lot of roles in my life and my upbringing. Like my father was basically my coach for baseball till high school, and then also like coached some other like of course he coached a little bit of football, but
Sure.
when you get into junior high, then you have other coaches. But he was always there,
W
teaching me sports and invaluable lessons, teamwork, discipline, leadership, all that stuff you need when you're a kid trying to find your way in the crazy sports world. Back when we
Sure.
played, like AAU wasn't around, or
No.
like travel wasn't as big as it is now. Like we had some small travel teams, but nothing was like it is how crazy it is now.
Yeah. Now
Um,
did you grow up you didn't graduate from Toledo though, right?
no, I that's a whole nother story. Yeah, so I went
Alright, and we
to
don't have to go there, just
no, you're fine. No, I went and graduated from Adrian College.
well, high school.
Oh, high school? Oh, high school is like Sylvania in Sylvania. So
Oh,
Sylvania.
so you did go to, like, you grew up and graduated from Sylvania, like,
Yeah.
Toledo area.
Yeah. So Sylvania's on the
Gotcha.
outskirts of, downtown awesome Toledo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it can
My
be a little
bad.
sketch on there. It can be a little
Yeah,
sketch.
yeah, if you turn that's why they moved the walleye to the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
So
That's a cool stadium, though. Have you been there? Or, like,
well,
arena?
it's my
Huntington?
backyard. Of course I have.
I love it, man. So, when you were growing up, did you played all the sports, right?
Yeah, I played everything. So I played soccer, football, basketball, baseball, and golf.
So, there you go. Is that a big college or a high school? Like, how many kids were in your class?
450.
450? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I knew all but 15 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit.
What was your go-to sport though? Was basketball your go-to sport?
Basketball and football.
Yeah.
It could have been
What
baseball, but I don't know why I screwed up that. So,
what position did you play in football?
you name it, I played it. Besides
Yeah.
the offensive line and defense line, so I played.
Fair enough.
So I was halfback, slot back,
Yeah, yeah.
wide receiver, punt
Okay.
returner, kick returner. I played DB, played strong safety, and then came up
Mhm.
into the box if they needed me.
Bringing the thunder. My man. I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, so like I said, the only thing that bothered me was my ankle. So I always had to either get it taped
Mhm.
or wear a brace. And then the only things I can't do, like if I rollerblade too long or I do skiing or
Mhm.
anything like that, my ankles like kill. So I don't do that. So like I don't do any of those because my ankle just like feels like it's on fire all the time. So.
Yeah. Well, no, I feel you on the rollerblading. I cannot rollerblade at all. Like it's
But well, think about that.
my
Back in our
past has
day,
messed me up
back
too much.
yeah, back in our day, rollerblade parties were the jam.
I cannot roller skate to save my life, bro.
Well,
Like I'm pretty athletic. I can do most things, but anything to do with rollerblading or balancing stuff, nah. Give me a ball
I
and
get it.
I'll
I get it.
throw
But
it.
that's
I'll
but
hit
that's
it.
what made it kind of hard though, because I was like, all right, we do play birthday parties and like, we got there for elementary parties, and I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna be like dead the next day.
Oh yeah. That's cool though. That's cool. I grew up in a real small town though, and we had to go like probably 30, 45 minutes to get to a roller rink. And it was like the old school one where like the wooden floors and they had like those big beams in the middle and you just went around and around and around. But this thing was like, I don't even remember what it was called.
Did
I
they
should
play the
probably
YMCA song?
I'm sure they did.
And they had
And
the ball drop
I
with the
can't,
lights and everything.
I'm sure, man. I think I only went there like 2 or 3 times. I'm just
Well,
not my jam, not my
yeah. So you
jam.
said you can't balance on that, so I get it.
Yeah. It's all good though. It's
Probably
all
had to
good.
wear you probably had to wear a helmet and everything while you were there. So or they gave you the little triangle to help you get through the day, but it's all good.
I mean, like the little walker to try
Yeah.
to skate. I never understood that. No. But,
Uh,
you
the
know
parents paid extra for the guy to watch you while you were out there.
Oh, man. No, I feel like they just dropped me off and then they went and did something else and then they came back and I was like, "Yeah,
That's so
I'm
cute.
never skating again." That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But, not to disappoint all of our listeners and you, I mean, how the hell am I supposed to top that story? How am I supposed to compete with that thing, man? Jeez, oh Pete's.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, it's nothing crazy, but I mean, things.
it's nothing crazy. We're just paralyzed by age 7
Hey,
and had to learn how to
things
do everything again. So
things
no, that's
happen.
not crazy at all.
Things happen for a reason. Trust me.
It's all good, man. That is incredible though. But
That reminds me of one thing. So if I was so what they because they had to come in and like do blood work all the time and certain tests and everything.
sure, sure.
So my mom put a big ass like jar in on my windowsill, and the doctors would put money in there every time they do procedures. So that thing just like racked up. I was making stacks while I was paralyzed. I mean, what can you say?
I love it.
It
I
really wasn't
love it.
stacks. It was like $1 loose change or whatever. But at being 7, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make millions.
Hey, well, and back in that day, I mean, that actually, there was a true dollar menu. Actually, it was less than a dollar menu.
That's true. That's true.
You could actually do something. I mean, anymore, you go out to eat, dude. It's $20 a pop. It's just like, golly.
Well, for a
Um,
family of 4, I just spent $74 at Applebee's.
yeah, no 2 for 22 anymore. Nope.
But yeah, so
Um,
what was I gonna say? So like we've been talking about, my passion interests were sports. Like I'm sure yours were too when you're growing up when we get
mhm,
there. And then they've been consistent throughout my life and days as a player, and then avidly following, collegiate teams, and these experiences shape my perspective on teamwork, leadership. And then, additionally, I'm sure like any story, got some travel, wanted to pursue some things,
Mhm.
try to work on yourself, personal growth and development. And then also some of the I know when you share your story, you can talk about this, but like I didn't take any of my scholarships to go play anywhere. Not like you. But
I
that's the
didn't take
story.
like, what kind of scholarships are you talking about?
To go play football.
Oh, well, like, who offered you?
I had well, everybody got offered. I feel like back in my day, by like that Bluffton school. Like I feel like they're looking for players like all the time.
Is this like
uh,
the Amway of college football or
I don't
something?
know.
Like,
I just felt
"Hey,
like they were. They were
we're looking for some guys like you. You meet the profile."
yeah, but no, I had nothing big. Like I had D2 school, so I had Tiffin University, Finley.
Bro, I
Um,
didn't have D2 looking at me. Ain't nobody
uh,
looking at me.
well, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to have when you share your story, you're just like slub me over here, sitting in the corner. Uh,
Yeah, it is, man. Jeez.
but yeah, so I had that, and then I had possible walk in at Eastern. So I know there's a couple more, but I just can't think of them. So it's been like
Bro,
getting old now. So yeah.
dang. Dang.
Um,
I need to talk a little bit longer. I need to go chat GPT and make up a story here, man. Like, give me a good story that can top this one. 'Cause-
but I mean, other than that, I just lived a normal childhood. We can always bring up other things
yeah,
throughout the
and
show.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Um,
This is more of a, hey, who is Josh? What's a little bit of snippet. So like when you're listening, you got a little background, right? It's not just two random dudes. We're real people. Um,
and then let me end with a quote. I want to end with a quote here for
oh,
my.
oh,
So you'll like this one. See if you can guess who it is. Okay, I'll give you a
okay.
minute. All right,
All
all
right,
right.
all right. Here we go.
So
Here we go.
everything negative, pressure, challenges. It's all on the opportunity for me to rise. Who said that?
I mean, I feel like it's a sports guy.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
Um,
If you need a hint, I can give you one.
I was gonna say Kobe, but I don't think it was Kobe.
If you would have kept with your answer, you'd have been right.
It was Kobe.
Yeah.
There you go. There's some things the audience will learn about you, and I love it because you're sometimes you're predictable, and you love Kobe, which is
Well,
awesome.
that's because you know me pretty well. And plus, you forgot to add when we were starting to coach together, you're like, who's this douche that's going to be coaching my kids? You're like, because you're like, I'll help. And then you're like, I thought you're going to be the biggest douche ever. And I'm like, well, thanks, bro. Like, geez.
Well, listen, that's like the guy talk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're talking to a girl or whatever, and you find out she's dating some guy, or you see a girl on Facebook and she looks good or whatever, and you find out she's got a boyfriend, you're like, that guy's a douche, man.
Well,
Come
maybe
on.
for you is like MySpace or something.
I never got into MySpace.
But
People have asked that before. I don't know why. I never got into MySpace. I had Facebook, but Napster back in the day. We would
that's how you got your music, though.
oh yeah. Dude, that was the best. I mean, now it's so spoiled.
Or
Like, just open up Spotify and I can play any song at any
what
moment.
was
I
the
mean,
other?
basically.
Oh, the big one in college for me was LimeWire. Oh my god, we were just rolling in the songs on that thing.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean these kids won't understand how to like download, and then you have to put it on a disc.
no, yeah, and the crazy part is, like, you knew that this CD track number 8 was it, man. That's what,
Yeah,
boom, 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 and you could go right to it. And you knew, you like cruising down, you're scooping a loop with the boys. You get the freaking 8 CDs across, the
yeah.
binder flipping through. You pull that out, you throw it in. Dude, that
I
was
didn't I didn't have a binder. Mine was a shell that hold 30 by itself. So it was like reverse. So the shell opened, you could put
yeah.
10 here, 10 there, and then flip it over and 10 and 10, 10. It was pretty
Did
sweet.
did you have the visor with the CDs on it too?
No, that's like a woman thing, dude. No way.
Really? I did not. For the record, I did not. Don't send us hate mail. For
No.
real. I was at an open house. So,
Today?
today and
Don't tell
yesterday.
me somebody had it.
What's that?
Don't tell me somebody had one.
Bro, they were playing CDs. We played CDs. She goes, "Hey, I think we need some music." So I'm in the mortgage industry, right? And so I'm at this open house with this realtor, and God bless her, she's awesome. And she's like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna play some music." And I was like, "All right, that's cool." And she goes, "Yeah, I got some CDs." I'm like, "Are you serious? Who's got CDs, bro?" Pulls it out, and it like this condo that we were at, CD player is like one of those under the cabinet
Oh yeah, yeah,
mounted units.
yeah,
I bet those things were fricking sweet back in the day. I guarantee you. You know, if you had one of those, you had it going on because it was Sony, and
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I know
it was,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. But yeah, she plays CD, and
Hmm.
it was funny because uh,
Was it a
it
regular
was
CD or was
Brooks.
this one of her mixes?
It was Brooks and Dunn. I was like, yeah, Linda's playing some Brooks and Dunn. I love it.
Well,
So we
hey,
listen to Brooks and
they're
Dunn,
part
man.
of college game days. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, just real quick, a little bit of background on me.
yeah, we got to get to you now, the old man on the show.
the the old man kicking his fist at the clouds. Um, originally from Iowa. Um, you know, I, uh, I grew up uh just in the country, and we'd be playing all kinds of sports. And I just remember, I mean, we played video games for sure, but we spent a ton of time outside, and we had some land, and we go out exploring on four-wheeler. And then,
Wait, hold
you
on,
know,
hold on. You mean I'm just gonna, put you in a little box? But since you're from Iowa, all I remember there's corn, flat land, and I'm guessing you were a farmer.
no, I mean, we had about 160 acres,
Holy
but we
shit!
didn't farm it. We leased it out. I mean, it was called CRP land, so basically you get paid not to farm it.
Yeah, the
And then
government pays you, right?
yeah, 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 and then
Yeah.
you have to farm it every, I don't know, X amount of years. I have no idea how many, but yeah, I mean, we had hogs growing up a little bit, like when I was real young.
You should have told me that.
Um, I've still to this day, I have an affinity for hogs, for pigs, man. I don't know why, but I love them. I
Surprised you
do.
don't have one walking around your house.
That would be a little wild. The HOA is already on my ass about everything I do because I don't care. I don't need them on my ass about a hog too. That would not be cool. Victoria, my littlest, would love it though, man. She would. Ava would too. My oldest, she would love it too. But anyways,
That's so
yeah,
cool though that you had all that like property to just like do stuff and like maybe have
yeah,
like you're probably the house to go jam at for like sleepovers or have like a camp out or just playing
yeah,
in the woods like art like I guess play like Arby boys and like go like whatever.
dude, you could just go do whatever. Yeah, and uh, my buddy, his grandpa had a lot of land next to us too, and we'd meet up and ride four-wheelers or snowmobiles. And I had a buddy that we'd cut across a couple cornfields and meet up with him, and we just cruise around, on our four-wheelers or bikes and stuff like I remember, this is how crazy this was. Like, we would we lived on a highway, so it was a 55-mile-an-hour, highway or whatever, and we would ride 7 miles to the school on bike, and go lift, work out or whatever, and then ride our bikes back home. It's like wild. Like, can you imagine somebody doing that now? That CPS would be on their doorstep faster than they would know what to do. Isn't that wild?
That's almost like the one their grandparents were like, I have to go up both hills in snow and all that stuff
Yeah.
just to get
It's crazy. Like, but the amount of freedom that you felt like you had with that, it was super cool.
I mean, I
Like,
didn't live in a acreage, but I can agree with you. The freedom we had when we were kids, like they're like, "All right, go outside. Here's your bike. Just let us know when the street light comes on. Come home for dinner."
yeah, people would say that. I
And
mean,
if you
you
forget, they'd
didn't
make a
have
quick
street
little
lights.
phone, house phone. So make a quick little call, like, "Hey, send my kid home." Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way it was, and I grew up in, like, super small town. Like, literally, the town I grew up outside of, did not
Tim,
have curbs.
Did they have one blinking light?
They did not have a blinking light. Um, it was a town of 140 people, and the school I went to was so small. It was K through 12 in one building. The class before me graduated 15 people. That's how the graduating class was, 15 or 16, something like that. But it was wild, man. But it was cool. Like, we didn't have a track. We had a track team, but we didn't have a track like around the football field.
You made
The
your own track by running around it?
We had a T-shirt, and I think they made T-shirts. I don't remember, but it was called. They said that saying was South Page is where I went. South Page track, and it was like running on the streets is twice as sweet.
Oh my god.
How awesome is that?
I feel like you could take that T-shirt and have it mean a few different things. Holy crud!
Running the streets is sweet.
But so besides, you having this awesome,
I mean, it was awesome
childhood
looking.
of like having like the freedom and the
Mhm.
fields and all that, like, which is cool because most, a lot of kids don't have that. Like, what else, what else would say some of the big other things that stuck out to you when you were your little backstory here?
Well, some of the. Well, real quick, I guess looking back on it, I think it's sweet, but of course, it is. If you would have asked me during that time, I didn't like it at all. Like, I wanted to be around more people. I like the country. I've always liked the country,
But you
but
wanted more city.
yeah, like more people, or oh man, that'd be cool if we actually had this, or I don't have to drive 10 miles to go to a grocery store or go to McDonald's or something like that. Like, we actually have amenities close by other than a gas station.
So you going to McDonald's was like a treat.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, we
You had
didn't
to
go out to eat a
put your
lot.
Sunday's best down together, right?
Oh man, probably no. I mean, my brother worked at McDonald's. Dude, I remember. Okay, so this is funny. So I worked at Hy-Vee, and
What is that?
it was my first job. It's like Meijer, so it's like a big grocery store. It's
Okay.
like Meijer, Kroger, or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I've got a couple funny stories from there, but it was like super busy. It was like a Sunday. And here I am. I'd probably worked there a couple years or something like that. And I'm like the cool guy, and like, thinking I'm all I don't know.
Was this
Like,
when
I'm
you
all
were
cool.
was this when you were a teenager?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For
Okay.
sure. I think I started working when I was like 14. So I was probably 15 or 16, something like that. And so, I'm an athlete, and kind of, I'm the
You were
small
him.
town athlete.
You were
but
him. You were him.
Yeah, kind of.
You were the big fish on the little pond.
Yeah. So, but I'm working at this bigger town because we don't have a grocery store in my town. So I got to go to the big town, right? And so they're like, "Hey, we need a price check on whatever, on this can of beans." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." So I'm like up front, but to get, and it's packed. It's Sunday, it's packed. And so I go to this register to get back to the aisles because all the registers are in front. And this one's open, like it's closed because nobody's there. But there's that that little
The chain that
chain.
blocks it off.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I got this. So I jump over it, and of course my foot catches it, and I like fall flat, straight on my face, and like everybody's like, "Oh!" And I get up. I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm okay." That was my ego was hurt so bad after that, bro.
Oh gosh.
And I remember, oh my gosh. And anyways, it was wild. But I think some of the biggest things, that I took away from, especially growing up, is I always felt like there was more inside of me, right? I feel like there was all this untapped
You mean you meant
talent.
for something, right? Like
Yeah, uh, like there was something more. Um, that I didn't accomplish what I knew that I could do. And I felt like that in high school, and just the way, my story went, I actually moved in between my junior and senior year to a lot bigger school and graduated from there. But I don't feel like I accomplished what I needed to accomplish there. And then I went to college, and I chose to play football there at a Division III school, Central College. It's in Pella, Iowa, and great program, amazing people. Still go back, still have great friendships with. I was back there this summer, and I was talking to coach and some of the former players
Well,
and all that stuff.
your coach is still there.
Yeah, yep. And he's a great guy, great guy, and you know, they're all supporting me and all that stuff and joking around with me about my whole shtick and what I do for a living and my persona that I've got online and all that stuff. So it's fun, but I didn't feel like I had accomplished what I knew that I could accomplish there, right? And I just there there just seems to be that theme of I know there's greatness and I'm just waiting for that to come out. And so it's I don't know, it's something that I'm still pursuing. I've always been a reader. I've always been kind of a self-help slash self-help junkie, if you will, I've been to Tony Robbins and I've read the books and I've done the different things, and I just love the whole thing of winning and psychology and the Mamba mentality with Kobe, and I know that resonates with you. And now when I'm looking back on my life and maybe some of the reasons why things happened and things didn't happen, I'm looking at that saying I these are the reasons why. And so now I'm turning around and I've got 2 boys and I've got 2 boys, 2 girls. But specifically my boys, because my girls athletics, they're just kind of, they're just kind of whatever with it right now. And that's cool. I support that 100%. But my boys are like, "Oh, we want this and we want that." So I'm pushing them. And I'm not doing it to be a jerk. And I'm not doing it because I want I'm trying to live vicariously through them. It's because I know that's what I didn't do, and that's what they need to do if they want to have the success that they claim that they want to have. And I think that's the biggest thing. So like when you're talking about leadership on and off the field, the psychology of winning and overcoming adversity. I mean, we could talk for a long time on transitions for me, from jobs to a divorce to, you know, uh, just all the different things that I've had to do over the last, 4 or 5 years to totally change my mindset and everything of where my life is headed. We could talk for a long, long time about that, but
No,
um,
exactly. But that's the reason of this podcast, for us to reach
absolutely,
those
man.
people that I don't want to say don't have a voice, but are like, looking and like, oh, no, I can't relate to anyone,
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
Like, "Hey, I'm alone. I'm an island. I don't have this. I don't have that," and it's not true because 'cause we're here, man, and we're gonna have some fun doing it. We're gonna have some serious stuff for sure,
and then we'll have
but
all the good laughs and other stuff too, as well. Of course.
absolutely. I mean, even like next episode, right? The next episode, obviously, Josh is a big basketball fan. I'm a big basketball fan. I lean college for sure. I don't really follow the NBA too much. I get into it a little bit during playoff time, but
I'd say the same thing. Like
yeah,
that's really the only time to watch the NBA is during the playoffs, because they
yeah,
play way too many games and they don't
yeah,
really care.
yeah, it's insane. But we've got the NCAA tournament right around the corner. We're gonna do our picks. We're gonna share our top, all-time tournament moments. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, kind of going back and thinking about, where were you when this shot happened, or do you remember watching this, or all the different things behind the NCAA tournament.
I think we might even try to like break down the NCAA tournament a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and kind of give you an overall perspective of how certain things actually work. If you go back and like get into I know most people don't like to get into the data, but there's a few things we can
Mhm.
pull out of there to be like, okay, this is how it might go. So,
Cool. I'm
but
looking forward to it.
the other nice thing is for the March Madness, since I'm a teacher, falls my spring break, so I'll be watching a few, and I'll be a bachelor this spring break because my wife and stepson are actually going to Europe on a trip, so I have enough time to watch enough basketball. So
You are going to get your basketball fill in, and I love it. I love it. Also, I mean, you could probably expect maybe not every episode, but just about every episode, we're going to talk something to do with NCAA football. Both of us are big time junkies. I'm a huge Nebraska fan. You're a huge, Buckeye fan. Ohio State, Florida State. Um, we've got the video game coming out. EA
That's huge.
Sports.
I feel like I've been waiting for like 20 years.
Yeah, and everybody has. That's going to be, we'll get into that a little bit. Real football, the spring, like you had mentioned earlier, spring football is right around the corner. I think everybody's kind of finalized their rosters and, the transfer portal. I don't know if that's still open. Is it still open? Do they close that down?
It's only open if a coach leaves. So I think they've done
Okay.
all the hirings, but like, let's say, for example, Toledo coach leaves tomorrow,
Yeah. Yeah.
then the guys have 30 days to put their name in if they're leaving.
Okay.
So
So then it'll open. It probably opens again after spring ball then, like after the spring game,
yeah,
because then
you can still leave there after the spring game.
okay.
So that's
Okay.
what happened with one of Coach Prime's wide receivers had a
Coach
huge spring
Prime.
day and then he left to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'd leave Coach Prime too, but that's me.
You're
So
just sad that they beat you. It's okay. He was playing his theme music all the way back to his private jet on that one.
Jesus. Hey, we might even touch base on a way too early playoff picture for NCAA football because we have not seen or heard enough of them. We need to weigh in and give people because people want to know. The people want to know.
But the crazy thing
Who
is
the
they have
coach wants.
they have 12 this year, and they're talking about amping it
That's
up to
ridiculous.
14 for next year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, what is the new, and we can talk about this in a second. What is the new standard going to be, right? So it used to be, in the Big Ten back in the day, like growing up, and I wasn't a Big Ten guy back then. I was obviously, Big 8 and then Big 12 with Nebraska, but it used to be you make the Rose Bowl, right? That
Yes.
was the standard bearer. And if you did that, then oh my gosh, like Hayden Fry drives me crazy. Everybody's like, "Oh, he made the Rose Bowl and he did this." I was like, "Who cares about the Rose Bowl?" Um, you know, but so the question is the playoff going to be the new standard? Hey, we made the playoffs. Is that the new bragging point of your coach is good? You had a successful year. You made the playoffs. You were top 14.
I mean, now with the change, I mean, it's successful, I feel like. But the other thing I'm worried about is if you're seeded 12, do you really want to play one of these powerhouses and be like
Mhm.
get injured before you because all the different things that have been happening with people opting out, not playing.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll have to see. I mean, that's another discussion for another time. But like, there's a lot of moving parts. I'm very curious how the season's going to go, and I'm sure we'll always jump in and talk about a big game or something going on.
for sure.
So
For sure. Well, hey, what else do you any closing thoughts? Any closing things you wanna mention as we wrap up this inaugural episode 1?
I guess if the only thing I can think of is just leave with like a question. Like, how have, our challenges that we've talked about or challenges in your life or experiences have shaped you today? That's something I want people to think about. Like, how have you used those challenges, adversity that we've talked about already, or that like burning fire in you, Reggie, or in me that's made us think like it's not as big as we wanted. Like we think there's should be more done. Like
Mhm.
I was thinking real quick, like how God saved my life twice, and
Mhm.
he there's got to be a reason. Like, what's his plan? Why am I that special that he's done it twice?
Mm.
There's got to be more. But that's I just want to leave the audience with that. Like, how has experience or challenges shaped you today?
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I think that does it for the first episode of Coach and the Cowboy podcast.